Hey, dude.
Hey, Chris, what's going on, man?
What's up?
Or as I should call you, General Butt Stuff.
Listen, I was trying to change that before I joined in, but then I was like, I'm not going to be able to until I get on there. So
Yeah, don't change it because it's fun. It's
I'm
too much
okay. I'm leaving it. I'm definitely leaving it now.
fun. What's going on, man? Thanks for hanging out here a little bit.
Yeah. I just did some yard work, so that was interesting. Like I ripped my hands all up and got blisters now. I'm just like not a manly man. You know what I mean? Like
No. Yeah, we are not manly men around here either. We have this segment on the morning show called Man Up Monday, and every Monday morning, we tell a story about how we weren't a man. Like we have
right.
handymen that come over and repair stuff at the house. I've got a lady who comes over and does the lawn.
A
And
lady, that's great.
she's a wonderful friend. Her name's Janet, but she was pregnant last year and was mowing the lawn while she was like 9 months pregnant.
God, right? That makes us feel so bad. Like I'm just I bought a truck just recently, like an old truck, and I have no idea how to work on it. And like I talked to my friends, I'm like, check out this awesome sweet truck I got, and they're like, oh yeah, you're gonna have to do a lot of work. I'm like, oh no,
Oops, oops.
whoopsie.
Yeah, those are the kind of things when you're not on the road and you're stuck at home. You don't have a choice but to face up to those things.
Trying to figure, I'll figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, my world's been completely. I mean, everyone's has, but me and my wife tattoo and I tour for a living. So both industries were completely shut down. Up until recently, tattooing just started again. So we're back in the shop there. But man, I haven't had so much time at home, and I can't in probably 7 years, 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
So
Let's see. Well, you guys were here in town in Boise, February 16th. That's the last show I saw was your show at the Shredder, and then everything got shut down.
yeah, dude. I mean, it was like, and I remember being super sick on that tour. Um, and it wasn't so much respiratory. I just had really bad chills and aches and felt horrible. And no one else got sick, but you know, uh, and then the last or second to last show of that tour was in Nashville at the basement, and the tornado came and destroyed that venue like 3 days after we played it.
I remember that's crazy, man.
Yeah, and then it was like a path of destruction. And like we have this joke in Crobot, we call it the Crobot curse, where when things start going good, something's bound to happen. And I swear, we think we brought on coronavirus because like Low Life was doing really well.
Yeah, you're like that shouldn't be. It shouldn't be like charting on the radio and stuff. That's a terrible thing to think, though, Chris, because
I know.
that song is
Listen, I'm a little more pessimistic than I should be.
right. Exactly. And now we've got Gasoline, which is my favorite song off of the album, by the way.
And that's one of the reasons we pushed for it. It's like definitely a fan favorite.
Yeah,
Like
when you guys play it live, it's just oh man, it's so awesome.
yeah, the energy's great. It feels good live, and we always want that to translate because we're definitely a a band. We're trying to figure out the streaming thing now. It's just a different feel. It's try to like portray that energy and everything through a stream is tough. But we're figuring it out.
Now you know what it's like to be an actor with a green screen for the most part. You got to do
Yeah, right.
you
Yeah,
got to pretend
don't
that
put
you're the Hulk.
yeah, don't put me in a scene with like a dragon on a green screen. I'll be horrible.
You're going to be just fine. I would imagine, though, Chris, that while you've been in this downtime, and like you said, you haven't been able to do tattoos or anything. You probably had time though to do a bunch of art, maybe some more artwork for the band. What's on the
Oh
slate for
yeah.
that?
Um, I mean, I'm always doing stuff, designs for the band, like because we rifle through t-shirt designs and stuff. It's one of those things where it's like that's sort of our business now. Let's
Yeah.
just try to keep cool t-shirts coming and like keep our faces out there. So I've just been working on that. We're releasing a barbecue rub.
I
Because
know
we've
you
got
just
like
put out the coffee. You got the coffee.
right So we each album has released its own hot sauce. This latest one was Mother Pain, which is this like awesome like peach. It was more of a marinade. It wasn't like super hot. Um, but now we're gonna release this like ridiculous barbecue rub, and we're gonna call it the Crub, which is the stupidest possible name you could use.
but but you sell out of that stuff, right?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things. It's really novelty. When we realize we sell more on the on the road is where you sell it, right? Because online people will get one as a novelty, and like you have this small group of people that see this stuff all the time. When you're on the road, you're in front of new people all the time, and they'll pick it up. So we're not going through it as much, but it's still fun to have that stuff.
Yeah,
So
when I pick up something like that, I buy two. Like I'll buy one to keep, and then I'll buy one to use because I don't like to
yeah,
not use stuff. But I've still got this, and I didn't even realize how stupid I am. Okay, I think the wife got it for me for a present. It was like Rob Zombie put out this coffee, way back, like 7 or 8 years ago, and I'm like, oh, I want that, and I'm a big coffee drinker, and so what do? I just take the bag and I put it on the shelf, and it's been there ever since. And I'm like, I could have used those coffee beans and just filled it up with something.
yeah. We that's the tough thing too. Like things have a shelf life, right? So we didn't re up on the coffee because we didn't know how much we would sell not being on the road. And then like, for instance, like the hot sauce on the road, man, the first batch that we made, and this was like 5 or 6 years ago. We were on the road, and it was really spicy. It was really hot stuff, and we would we would travel with cases, and I remember a case fell over in the trailer and it busted, and like it was like pepper spray in there, dude. Like you couldn't go in the trailer because it was just like it would burn your eyes.
Oh man, have you? What about music? Have you guys you've been tooling around with music and coming up with riffs in this off time? Did you do any of that, or is that just
Yeah,
like too much?
always. Nope. I mean, I always write songs. So I would say, I mean, even through the quarantine, I would dedicate 1 or 2 days a week where Dan would come over because he's the only one that lives in Austin with me. Dan would come over. We would jam out some structures. We would get like music down, and we would send to Brandon, and then we start working on vocals. From there. But yeah, I mean, once once we like got signed to like our first bigger label in like 2012 or something, we realized like if you're not productive constantly, your album cycle will sneak up on you, and next thing you know, you need a whole record of awesome songs, and if you're not working on it, you won't have it. You won't be ready for that. So we've constantly, I mean, even from last record, songs that we wish would have made the record, we've got like 10 of those that are ready to go, and hopefully we can do something with them halfway through this album cycle to like release some b-sides or something. That would be cool. But that's always pulling teeth with the label for some reason. They always want to like not do that. I don't know.
Yeah, for some reason they don't want to do things. Nobody likes that.
Dude, tell me
Uh,
about it. Story of my life.
doing a stream here today to raise awareness and maybe raise some money for Alzheimer's research. So I don't know. Do you have any connection to Alzheimer's at all?
Um, Alzheimer's is that also ALS?
No, no,
No.
they're
That,
separate terrible diseases.
okay. Okay. Well, that just shows how much of an idiot I am.
You idiot, Chris! I can't believe you've ruined this whole thing. Shut it down. No, we're good.
Alzheimer's.
We're good.
No,
We're
no.
good.
I don't think I know anyone directly. That's a horrible disease, though. It's very strange. Like in the PA area, um, where the band was, brought up, ALS was such a common. There was just so many people that were diagnosed with that disease, and they don't know why. It's just like a very concentrated area. No one really knows the cause of it. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I think there's like 13 million Americans on average that are living with Alzheimer's at any given time. And so, we're just trying to raise money for research for there's no real
Yeah,
treatment or cure, of course. And it's just one of those real tough things. But, an interesting thing that research has found is that music is a really important part of helping people cope with it, at least, where it's like that part of the brain doesn't really get affected where you recognize music and you hear music. So those are good things. And part of me, I've been encouraging people really to you know I mean, it's tough because I'm a radio personality and I work at a radio station. So music is like part of my lifestyle. For you, being an artist and tattoo artists and musicians, that's your lifestyle. Where I don't know is everyday people. It's not necessarily an everyday thing on their life with music,
right.
and I've been trying to encourage people is like, listen, you should make it at least some point have like a music moment in the day, not just when you're tuning into our radio station or whatever, but just where you find a particular song you love and just kind of bask in that moment, and one day that might help you somehow.
Yeah, I notice, man, like when I'm not listening to music, I will not be in as good of a mood, or a little bit more depressed, as opposed to like during the day if I just put an album on that reminds me that, when I was a teenager, or a nostalgic record that I've loved my entire life, even if it's on during in the background while I just go throughout my day in the house, it puts me in a better mood no matter what. And it's one of those things that it's whether you realize it or not, it'll make you remember awesome moments of your life or horrible moments of your life. But it's good. It's definitely therapeutic to have that, And especially I heard with Alzheimer's that people, they would be taken back to points of their life, and it will help them remember stuff, which
Yeah.
is crazy. That's how the mind works.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know, and it's there are probably a couple of songs I would have in my song bank that I would want to go to, and in some respects during this quarantine time, I've definitely been kind of reliving concerts in my mind since we haven't been able to go to any. But I'll tell you a song, a Crobot song that puts me in a mood where I'm just like, it just makes me smile, and it's just like, how can you not have a good time when you listen to Legend of the Spaceborne Killer?
Yeah, that was one of the first songs we ever wrote as a band too, and it just sort of, we didn't know what we were doing or what we were going for, and then when Brandon he sang that line like right away, and we're like, "What is that? What are you talking about, dude?" And it was just such a weird thing that sort of molded like the direction and the imagery and everything for the band.
Did you come up with the Crobot logo?
Yeah, I do. I've done all the art for the band since the beginning. There's been like the smoke logo, right? The Crobot
Yeah.
smoky thing. Yeah, I remember I did it, and I was just trying to be very, in that stoner rock world of like Sleep, the Sword type of a thing, but I wanted it to be a little more legible than like the Sleep logo. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a very recognizable font, because it's not really a font, what I mean? It's just sort of like drawn that way, but that's important, right? I mean, I remember growing up etching Metallica on my notebooks, you know what I mean? And every other band like that. So,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's something that'll be with a part of the band forever. Is hopefully you get to be at least somewhat as successful as Metallica. That would make a difference.
man, yeah, I went and saw them like a few years ago, and it was insane. Volbeat was opening. We were the first on the bill, and we toured with them for a bit. So we went and saw Caggiano, and he got us down in the pit, and we were like just feet away from these guys, and it was surreal. I remember watching Kirk Hammett run around with that Frankenstein guitar, and I was just thinking, like, man, that is the actual guitar that I grew up wishing that I had, and I could almost touch it. It was pretty cool.
Listen, I've enjoyed spending some time here with you today. At some point next week, by the way, you guys are going to be doing a little performance for us. So we'll be meeting up again next week. So uh,
Yeah.
I appreciate getting a nice tease from General Butt Stuff.
I'm just gonna leave that on there.
Leave it. Never
Yeah.
change it.
But,
I
I'll
wonder
put
if you
it.
were like, are you a 5-star general?
Yeah. That's how I took it. And then I thought that was sort of tongue in cheek. And then I was on there, and Dan, our drummer, is like, "So you're just basically butt stuff? Like you're into just like that small world, or like what?" It's like,
Change
yes.
it. You need to change it to Supreme Commander.
Oh, that's so good.
I don't know if it'll let you have that many characters though, but if it does, you should do that, okay?
Well, if I'll just put SC, that'll work. Then people have to ask about it.
All right, Supreme Commander. I'll be talking to you next week. So
Cool, dude. All right. Well, we'll see you later, man.
later, man. Bye.